A lot of riders chase the same kind of bikes, big, loud, flashy machines with price tags that scream for attention. But here's the truth. The best rides? They don't need to shout. Some of the most thrilling bikes out there are cheap, bulletproof, and more fun than anything in their price range. What if I told you there are bikes that handle better than a Harley, cost half as much, and outlive most marriages? Stick around, because these forgotten machines don't just punch above their weight, they wreck the competition. Let's start with number 12, Yazdi Road King. Meet the Yazdi Road King, India's two-wheeled outlaw, engineered to spit in the face of expectations. It runs a 246cc two-stroke that doesn't whisper. It barks. Twist the throttle and it sounds like a chainsaw in a street fight. It's loud enough to wake your neighbors and your ancestors. But the noise isn't even the weirdest part. This thing has dual exhausts, a massive sofa-style seat, and a kickstart lever that also shifts gears. One lever, two jobs. Total chaos. It's like someone looked at a Swiss Army knife and said, "Let's build that, but with wheels." This bike is built like a tank. Heavy, stubborn, and hard to kill. It was a legend in India, especially back in the 70s and 80s. Rally racers loved it. Commuters swore by it. It smoked like crazy, but nobody cared because it had personality. And that's what you're really buying here. Character. You're not getting fuel economy. You're not getting high-tech anything. You're getting a blast from the past that smells like two-stroke oil and bad decisions. So why isn't it everywhere? Easy. It's kickstart only, which scares off lazy riders. The shifter takes time to get used to, and it's not modern, not fuel efficient, and it's basically banned from clean air zones. But if you can find one, $100 gets you a beat-up legend. $2,400 gets you a restored slice of smoky history. Bottom line, the Yazdi Road King doesn't try to impress. It dares you to keep up. It's rowdy, rattly, and raw in all the right ways. Built like a tank, loud as sin, and proud of every puff of smoke it leaves behind. It rides like a rebel and smells like trouble, and that's exactly why you'll love it. Now let's flip the script. From smoky to slick. Up next is a sport bike packed with modern tech, styled like a Ducati, yet overlooked simply because of the country where it's come from. Number 11. CF Moto 300 SS. The CF Moto 300 SS is the kind of bike people walk right past in the showroom until they check the price and start asking questions. Because here's the truth. If this thing had a Yamaha badge on it, it'd be sold out everywhere. Under the fairings, a 292cc liquid-cooled single that cranks out 29 horses. It tops out around 90 miles an hour. More than enough for ripping around town or carving up twisties on the weekend. You're not setting land speed records, but if your buddy's riding something chunky, you're gone by the first stoplight. Now here's where things get juicy. You get a slipper clutch, Bosch fuel injection, full LED lighting, and a crisp 5-inch TFT display that makes some $10,000 bikes look like they're stuck in 2009. Design? Sleek, pointy, sporty. This thing looks fast even when it's parked. So why is nobody talking about it? Well, 3 reasons. 1, it's made in China, and people get weird about that. 2, it doesn't have a big brand name like Honda or Yamaha. And 3, most riders still think entry-level means boring. They couldn't be more wrong. You can find used ones floating around $2,300 to $3,000, some barely even broken in. New, around $4,600. Either way, it's a ton of bike for not a lot of money. The hot take. This thing's a glitch in the system. You're getting slick tech, sharp looks, and way more performance than the price tag suggests. It's like buying a brand new iPhone for the price of a flip phone. And when your buddies find out what you paid for it, yeah, they'll be mad. But secretly, they'll wish they got one too. Now let's go from high-tech to high mileage and bulletproof. Because up next is a bike that doesn't care about lap times or LED screens. It cares about getting you across a continent with or without roads. Number 10. BMW R1150 GS. The BMW R1150 GS isn't a bike, it's a passport. You know those machines that just look like they've seen some things? This is that bike. Dirt, snow, potholes, rivers, angry goats, you name it. The R1150 GS has been through it and barely flinched. This thing runs a 1,130cc air and oil-cooled boxer twin. It cranks out 80-plus horsepower, but it's not about speed. It's about survival. It's got a shaft drive, a telelever front suspension, which looks weird but works, and weighs in at about 200. Translation? It's built like a tank but handles like a Jeep with a PhD. Now, this bike was the king of the adventure world. It's the original ADV legend, long before that became a trend. You could cross entire continents on this thing, no problem. It's been everywhere from the Alps to the Andes and back again. So why isn't everyone screaming about it? Well, the newer R1250 GS kind of stole the spotlight. Most people chase the latest model like it's the only one worth owning. And yeah, the used R1150 GS models usually have high mileage because people actually ride them. Plus, the early versions had some funky servo brakes, and that telelever setup takes a minute to get used to. But here's the good news. All that meh means you can score one for around $3,500 to $5,500. The adventure models sit right around $4K. Even well-maintained ones with 60 to 80,000 miles, you're getting 90% of the performance of the newer GS at about 30% of the price. It's like buying a used Land Cruiser. You know it's been around, but it still has plenty of fight left. This bike doesn't care about trends. It doesn't care about flexing. It's made to take you far and bring you back in one piece no matter what. Honestly, ride it once and you'll start daydreaming about ditching the 9-to-5 and chasing the horizon full time. Okay, that's cool. But how about a little 350 that turns more heads at a stoplight? Next up is a bike that trades brute strength for pure charm and nails it. Number 9, Royal Enfield Hunter 350. Now let's switch gears from desert tank to city cruiser. The Royal Enfield Hunter 350 is the kind of bike that makes people smile. It's got that old school look with just enough modern touches to feel fresh. And the price? You could buy one for less than a used iPhone. No joke. It runs a simple 349cc single-cylinder engine. That gives you about 20 horsepower. It's not going to win drag races, but it's not trying to. This bike is built for city life, short rides, tight corners, and weaving through traffic like a pro. Let's talk style. You've got a classic round headlight, a teardrop-shaped tank, a comfy upright seat, and metal fenders, not that cheap plastic stuff. The dash gives you a clean mix of analog and digital, which feels just right. It's got retro vibes without feeling like a gimmick. And because it's a Royal Enfield, there's already a fan base that knows how to keep it running forever. Price-wise, it's a steal. You'll find used ones between $2,900 and $3,700. Brand new, you're looking at around $4,000. That's base model. The Rebel trim is a little more, but still under $4,200. Either way, your wallet will thank you. Why do people love it? Because it's light, it's charming, and it feels like riding a classic without the classic bike problems. And sure, it's not a speed demon, but pull up at a stoplight and chances are someone's gonna say, "Hey, cool bike." Bottom line, the Hunter 350 isn't about speed, it's about swagger. It cruises like it owns the road, sips fuel like it's on a budget, and somehow pulls off retro without trying too hard. If charm were a currency, this thing would be loaded. Number 8. Suzuki GS750. Now here's one that doesn't get enough love. While everybody was drooling over the Honda CB750 or chasing the Kawasaki Z1, Suzuki was in the corner quietly building something just as good, maybe even better. The GS750 doesn't come with movie star fame or flashy paint jobs. Under the tank, a 748cc DOHC inline 4, cranking out a smooth 70 horses. But here's the kicker. While other 70s bikes were flexing their engines and wobbling through corners, this one rolled out with a proper frame and real suspension. No drama, just solid handling from day one. It's balanced, bulletproof, and way more agile than you'd expect for something this classic. No mood swings, no nonsense, just ride and repeat. So why don't more people talk about it? Simple. It never got the spotlight. No major racing wins. No iconic movie roles. No overhyped collector buzz. Even Suzuki sort of forgot it existed once the GS1000 and GSX series came along, but that's exactly why smart riders are scooping these up. Price-wise, total steal. You can find project bikes around $900, clean runners in the $2,000 to $3,500 range, and the occasional Reddit miracle for less than $1,000. Not bad for a legit vintage four-cylinder that still punches above its weight. Bottom line, this isn't the loudest bike on the street. It's not here to impress the crowd at bike night. But it is stupidly reliable, cheap to wrench on, and fun as hell to ride. If the CB750 was the rock star trashing hotel rooms, the GS750 was the samurai sharpening his blade in the dark. Quiet, sharp, unshakable. And honestly, the more people overlook it, the better deal it is for you. But maybe you're looking for something even more retro, something that oozes classic cafe vibes right out of the gate. Number 7. Kawasaki Zephyr 5 and 50. Let's go to another old school cool. The Kawasaki Zephyr 550 is like finding a leather jacket at a thrift store that fits perfectly and smells like gas and rebellion. It's a vintage-style four-cylinder that won't torch your savings, and it just might be the most slept-on classic out there. This thing dropped in the early 90s, but it's got serious 70s swagger. We're talking round headlight, twin rear shocks, teardrop gas tank, retro in all the right ways. But under that throwback look, it's got modern, well, 90s modern reliability baked in. You're getting about 50 horsepower from an air-cooled inline 4. Top speed? Around 110 mph. Not bad for a bike that looks like it should be parked outside a record store. The upright bars and low seat make it friendly for beginners too. No back-breaking lean, no race bike attitude. It's chill. So why doesn't everyone talk about the Zephyr 550? It got overshadowed by its bigger siblings, the Zephyr 750 and 1100. Plus, back then, riders hunting for budget bikes often ended up with the Bandit 600. That left the 550 to quietly slide under the radar, which is great news if you're shopping today. Used prices? Still totally reasonable. In the US, you'll find them for $1,800 to $2,500. Canada, the UK, Australia, they're out there. Usually well-loved, sometimes barely touched. It's like stumbling on a forgotten mixtape that still slaps. Final take. The Zephyr 550 doesn't try to impress. It just shows up and delivers. Smooth, simple, and stupidly dependable. While other bikes chase clout, this one just keeps carving corners and cashing reliability checks. It's the kind of bike that makes you wonder why everyone's spending $5,000 more just to say they did. Next up, we have a bike that's basically the United Nations on two wheels. Japanese engine, British design, Italian parts, and somehow it all works. Number 6, MZ Scorpion. Ever heard of the MZ Scorpion? Yeah, didn't think so, but this bike's got a story. Between 1994 and 2004, a company in East Germany called MZ decided to build something different. And the result? A true international mashup. You've got a Yamaha engine under the tank, a British-designed frame, and Italian parts to hold it all together. This thing's basically the motorcycle version of a band with members from 5 countries. And somehow it works. Under the tank, the Scorpion run a 660cc liquid-cooled single that thumps out somewhere between 48 and 58 horses. Plenty to make you grin. It's lightweight too, tipping the scales at just 380 pounds dry. Twist the throttle and it'll scream its way up to around 110 miles an hour. No problem. There were a few versions made: Sport, Tour, and Traveler. And here's the fun part. Club racers love this thing. It handles sharp, it brakes hard, and it responds like a much more expensive bike, all thanks to its premium suspension. So why don't people talk about it? Simple. No hype, no big advertising, no dealerships pushing it. Just a solid bike that kind of slipped through the cracks. Used prices, still a steal. Most go for between $2,000 and $3,500. Traveler versions are usually closer to $3,450. The rare Sport Cup models may be around $4,000. And you can still find clean 96 models for about $2,700. The MZ Scorpion isn't just some quirky Euro leftover, it's a mixed breed brawler with Yamaha guts and no patience for drama. Light, tight, and built to ride hard without the fuss. No hype, no ego, just a seriously good bike that punches way above its pay grade. All right, we've had our fun with international oddballs, but now it's time to shift gears. Let's move from exotic weirdos to full-on sport bike sleepers. Number 5. Yamaha YZF-600R Thundercat. Here's the deal. Most people think if you're not riding an R6, you're missing out. But the Yamaha YZF-600R quietly does everything the cool kids' bikes do, without acting like a diva. This bike's got that perfect mix: speed, comfort, reliability. And yet, almost nobody talks about it. Which is wild because on paper and on pavement, it punches way above its weight. Tucked inside the fairings, the Thundercat's packing a 5.999C inline 4 that kicks out around 100 horsepower. Twist the throttle and you're flirting with 150 miles per hour. But what makes it special isn't the speed, it's the feel. This thing isn't twitchy or lazy, it's planted, smooth, and just plain easy to live with. You get adjustable suspension, a big 5-gallon tank, and a dry weight around 417 pounds. Translation: it's made for real rides, real roads, and real riders, not just flexing at bike night. Now, the part you'll love: used prices. You can find these anywhere from $1,100 to $3,700. A clean 2005 model usually lands around $3,400 according to KBB. And if you're patient, Reddit and forums have folks scoring solid runners for as little as $1,500. That's bonkers value for a bike this capable. Final take: if you want drama, go buy an Italian supermodel on wheels. But if you want a bike that just works, no mood swings, no surprise bills, the Thundercat's your sleeper hit. It won't win Instagram, but it might win your heart and your daily commute. Next up, we have the tank in disguise. The dual sport that refuses to die, eats dirt for breakfast, and doesn't care what year it is. Number 4. Honda XR640L. There's a good chance you've walked right past this bike without giving it a second glance. It doesn't glow. It doesn't growl. It doesn't have some wild, futuristic look. But don't let that fool you. This thing is a tank in disguise. The Honda XR650L has been rocking the same design since 1993. That's over 30 years of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it energy. And guess what? It still holds up. At its core is a 644cc air-cooled single-cylinder engine. Nothing fancy, just pure dependable grunt. The seat height is 37 inches, so short riders might need a stepladder. And it's kinda heavy for a dual sport, but once you're on it, none of that matters. This bike isn't trying to win fashion shows. It's not made for Instagram. It's made to get you through a desert, over a mountain, and across a river, all in one piece. It's been tested in real-life punishment and keeps coming back for more. And because it's basically a tractor on 2 wheels, it doesn't have a ton of electronics to go haywire. Fewer wires, fewer headaches. That's what makes it such a reliable choice. Price-wise, used models float around $3,500 to $6,000 depending on condition and upgrades. A brand new one from the dealer runs close to $6,000. MSRP these days? Just under $7,600. Not exactly pocket change, but for what this bike can do, it's worth every penny. Straight talk, if Mad Max rode dirt, it'd be this thing. The XR650L doesn't care about trends, polish, or tech. It just keeps going, through mud, fire, sandstorms, whatever. It's not pretty, but it'll survive the apocalypse and still have fuel left to laugh about it. But if you don't want techie drama, shiny plastic, or race bike back pain, good. Because next up is the most versatile bike Honda ever built. It's smooth, fast, comfy, and reliable. Number 3. Honda VFR 800 Interceptor. If motorcycles were tools, the Honda VFR 800 would be a Swiss Army knife with a titanium blade. This thing does it all: commuting, touring, twisty roads, even some track days. And it does it without complaining. It's powered by a 781cc V4. And if you've never ridden a V4 before, imagine the best parts of a twin and a four-cylinder having a love child. It's smooth, torquey, and sounds like something out of MotoGP when you really get on it. With around 100 horsepower and a fuel average of 38 miles per gallon, it's got solid power without guzzling gas. Not bad for a bike that can cruise comfortably all day and still hit the corners with confidence. But here's the weird part. Almost nobody talks about it. Why? Well, it doesn't fit into a neat little box. It's not a full sport bike. It's not a big luxury tourer. And because it runs a V4, some folks get scared off by the idea of wrenching on it, though really it's not that bad, especially with all the parts floating around. There's no cult buzz, no YouTube kids screaming about it, and no marketing campaign telling you to go buy one. And that's why the prices stay low, $2,500 to around $4,400, depending on mileage and condition. But here's the kicker. It's a bike you buy once, ride for years, and wonder why you ever looked at anything else. It's understated, overbuilt, and will probably outlive your helmet. The VFR 800 is for the rider who's done chasing trends. It's for the one who wants one bike that does everything and does it well. It's the grown man's sport bike, the no BS touring machine, the daily ride that never gets old. This isn't a bike that screams for attention. It's the one that keeps showing up, mile after mile, while the flashy stuff breaks down or gets trailered home. Quietly brilliant, stupidly capable, and still flying under the radar. Honestly, this might be the smartest ride on the whole list. From smart and smooth to raw and rowdy. Let's crank up the revs. It's time for something with serious track day muscle. Number 2. Triumph Daytona 675. The Triumph Daytona 675 should have been the king of the sport bike world. It had everything: a screaming triple-engine, killer styling, and handling that made twisty roads feel like racetracks. It came out swinging with over 110 horsepower, a torquey mid-range, and a sound that split the difference between a street fighter and a fighter jet. Seriously, twist the throttle and that triple sings. It's like a chainsaw playing a violin. So why didn't it blow up like the R6 or the CBR 600RR? Well, a few reasons. First off, it wasn't Japanese. And back then, if you weren't Team Yamaha, Honda, or Kawasaki, good luck getting noticed. Second, Triumph didn't have the massive dealer network or MotoGP hype like the Big Four. And to make things worse, the Daytona 675 eventually got discontinued, which means no fresh press, no Instagram clout, and no hype train rolling. But here's the twist. That's exactly why it's such a good deal now. These bikes fly under the radar on the used market. You can pick up a clean one for the price of a clapped-out R6. And if you're lucky, you might snag one that's been babied for thousands less than it's worth. Yeah, the early models had a few quirks, little things here and there, but nothing that'll scare off a decent rider or a weekend wrencher. You're getting a lightweight, sharp-handling, track-worthy sport bike with real personality. It's exotic without being expensive. It's powerful without being punishing. And it's fun in a way most sport bikes forgot how to be. Final word? If most sport bikes are cut from the same cloth, the Daytona 675 is the one that ripped up the pattern. It didn't follow the rules, it rewrote them. Underpriced, overlooked, and way more fun than it has any right to be. We've had the rebels, the beasts, the forgotten legends, but this last one, it doesn't roar, it doesn't flex, it just works. Ride after ride, mile after mile, the hidden hero no one brags about, but everyone should. Number 1. Suzuki GS500. The Suzuki GS500 isn't loud, it's not flashy, it's not trying to be anything it's not. But if you want a ride that just works every single time, this one's hard to beat. This thing's been around since the late 80s, and for good reason. It's powered by a simple 487cc air-cooled twin. No fancy electronics, no touchscreen nonsense, Just twist the throttle and go. And get this, it's reliable. Like outlive your credit card debt reliable. Most people ignore it because there's nothing flashy to show off, but that's exactly why it's such a good deal. While others are dropping big money on bikes they barely ride, smart riders are grabbing these for dirt cheap. Quick rundown? It's got around 47 horses, weighs less than 400 pounds, and hums along at 70 mph without breaking a sweat. And gas mileage? We're talking 50 to 70 mpg. Basically sips fuel like it's got a trust fund. And price? You'll find clean used ones for around $1,500 to $3,500. Overseas, even brand new, they go for $7,000 to $8,000. The best part? It's easy to work on. Parts are everywhere. You don't need a shop, you just need a wrench and a free afternoon. Maybe a beer. Final verdict? No. It's not the sexiest bike out there. The GS500 is the quiet mechanic in a room full of loud influencers. It's not chasing clout, it's clocking miles. Treat it right and it'll keep going long after the trendsetters have been trailered home. So there you have it. 12 bikes that don't need hype to earn respect. They're not flashy, they're not trendy, but they'll get you farther, faster, and for way less cash than the bikes everyone's chasing. Did we miss your favorite sleeper bike? Drop it in the comments. Let's build the ultimate list together. And if you've got a story about one of these underrated machines, we definitely want to hear it. If you love bikes that punch above their weight, hit subscribe. And check out our next video right here. It's packed with more hidden gems that deserve the spotlight.